It's 2026 and literally like 4 days from now, it is the 26th of December, and this year has just been an insane year for me. So for those of you, and probably most of you don't know who I am, my name is Chloe and I run a web design agency. And I kind of just want to go into an unfiltered, raw conversation of how I've been able to do what I do. At this moment, I'm in Australia. I've been able to travel the world while working from my laptop as a South African, and being able to make an online income as a South African has genuinely changed my life. I didn't believe it was possible, and I'm so grateful that I put in the effort and did realize it was possible, because the doors that it's opened for me, the opportunities, the type of lifestyle it's opened for me has just been absolutely incredible. And like I said, I'm sitting in Australia that's like 16 hours from home, and I'm still able to work. I'm still able to generate an income all from my laptop and just with the skills that I built up myself. So I just want to talk about that story with you guys. So this whole journey of starting a web design agency started for me when I was in my first year of uni. And I came across a video on how to do Webflow, and then I went down the whole Iman Gadzi SMMA whole thing, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And I kind of just went down that rabbit hole, but unlike other people who have not succeeded in this industry, I just stuck with it because I was genuinely so passionate. I truly believed that if I was going to put my mind to this, it will work 100%. Like, there was no way that it wasn't going to work, and I never had any doubt in my mind at all about what I wanted to achieve and the fact that I was going to achieve it. And now, 3 years later, sure, it took a long time, but 3 years later, I am making more than the average South African, quite a lot more than the average South African, and I'm only 22 years old. My birthday was like 2 years ago, so I think I can clickbait the title by saying 21 years old, because that sounds a bit better. But even so, at 22 years old, being able to live the life that I'm living is just an absolute blessing. So before I get sidetracked, because I can go on to so many tangents without a script, but the point is that this is unscripted. But anyways, the way that I got here has just been by testing and trying out different things for myself. I knew what business model I liked, and I stuck to that business model. And a mistake that a lot of people make, they see a different business model and this one just sounds better, but you need to stick to the business model that you chose for at least a year and a half before you can change to a different thing. If I could go back, I would get someone who was in my industry to teach me all of these things, so I didn't have so many trial and errors, because the only thing that I could have done differently is I could have probably achieved this faster. So I would definitely have gone back, and I definitely would have invested in some type of mentorship, because I feel like that would have just fast-tracked my progress. Because the thing with the mentorship is, they're not going to teach you anything that you can't find online. All of the information in the world is literally online, but it's information being structured that is so powerful, and that's what takes you from point A to point B so much faster. Because otherwise you need to now go and figure out, okay, I was at point A, now I need to quickly check out point B and maybe check out point C, and it just gets super confusing super quickly. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. That's the one thing that I think I made a mistake with, is not just investing in it. I think I would have made my money back much quicker. But anyways, with that out of the way, I just started with web design. I was in university, like I said, I watched a video on Webflow, and then I went down the whole Iman Gadzi tangent, and I think I even bought his small little course, the accelerator one, but I went into copywriting and that just was not my thing. I saw another person, and again, this is where you make a mistake, is I saw someone else be successful in copywriting and I thought maybe that's the route I should go. But I quickly realized that it wasn't what I need to do, and I went back into web design. Then I started posting content every single day. Like, every single day I showed up, I posted a video, and a lot of the times no one saw those videos, but I'm still so grateful that I did post those videos, because it did get me one or two clients that are still huge clients in my business 3 years later. But the biggest thing that posting every day and showing up every day taught me was that if I am consistent, it compounds. And every day that you show up and you think nothing is going to come out of it, those days actually end up building up and eventually something really good comes out of it. It's like a snowball effect. And for the first year and a half of me starting my business, I genuinely didn't see any results. I had a few people reach out to me here and there, weird little projects like a $50 logo design, and nothing really significant came out of it. But one day everything just clicked into place. But one of the things that was so important is every opportunity that came my way, I was not shy to take it. I had people reaching out for logos for $50. I was trying to sell YouTube banners to big YouTubers, and some of it actually worked. But none of it was significant. All of it taught me how to do certain things that I'm grateful for now where I'm sitting today. And I'm sure I still have a lot to learn, but all of those little things has ultimately turned into this big thing that it is now for me. I mean, I'm running a big web design agency. I've worked with some insane clients. I've worked on huge projects, and my team grew this year, and the path that I'm on is just exactly where I wanted to be 3 years ago. There was just one day where everything literally snapped into place, and I know a lot of people say it's all just a snowball effect and making your first X amount is the most difficult, but it's true. It truly was just a snowball effect. One day I woke up and it's like everything just paid off. Literally in one day, I got like 60,000 Rand worth of projects in one day. And that had never happened before. Before that, I was like maybe making 20,000 Rand a month. You know, I was scraping by. And then the one day, I literally just had a 60,000 Rand day. And that had never, ever happened to me before. After that day, it just consistently came in. I just consistently ended up making more money, getting more opportunities. And it was honestly the most surreal feeling ending my first month with 100,000 Rand. Like having my first 100,000 Rand month was one of the most surreal feelings, and we went out to celebrate it. And it wasn't even the money that is so cool about having your first 100K a month, but it's knowing that it's achievable. That's insane. And then also the fact that you know all of your hard work actually paid off, and it gets rid of that limiting belief of no, you can't sustain yourself online, or it's just a scam or this or that. Like, I didn't sell a course. I did not do any of that. I made my money from web design, and I learned a skill. I learned to be the best web designer that there is. And then I learned business. I learned how to hire a team. And all of that comes with making that first big figure. So that's honestly what I'm grateful for. And I think the big things that I want to communicate here is the fact that you might not think it's working. You might not think all of that effort you're putting in is working, but it does work. So I think if I wanted to summarize my process of how I got to where I am today, I would say that I found a business model. I figured out what I was truly passionate about. I stuck to that thing for a relentless period of time. Like, I did not want to give up on it. I started posting, which gave me some inbound clients. Then I realized that I can also reach out to potential clients. So I started doing cold outreach. I started sending emails, DMs, all of that good stuff. And I then also realized that I can reach more people with my content if I started running ads. And that was also a huge thing in my business. And the leverage you have with ads is just great, because you can pay to obviously reach a lot of your target audience. And there's a lot of power in that, because if you can position your messaging to reach that specific type of person overnight, you can literally go from zero to making a lot of money in a matter of a week. It's just about positioning and understanding your audience and having a really good offer. And then the moment you post an ad, it's just a math thing. Like, a lead costs, let's say 100 Rand. So you spend 100 Rand to get a lead, and then you make 10,000, 20,000 off of that lead. And then it was obviously worth it. I mean, 100 to 20,000 is it's just obvious that it's worth it to then run ads. It was also a big lever for me in my business. Then I started reaching capacity. This is where I really wish I did hire people earlier, because at the beginning, I just didn't want to hire someone. This was for multiple reasons. One of the big reasons I didn't want to hire anyone was just because I couldn't imagine that someone could keep up the same standard of work, the same quality of work that I was producing. In my head, I wanted control over everything. I wanted to be the one speaking to the clients. I wanted to be the one making the website, doing the design, coding the website, doing the SEO, running the ads. I wanted to have full control over everything. The great thing that this did teach me was to be really good at all of these parts of my business and understand it super well, so that when I did bring someone else into that part of the business, I knew if they were messing up. Because if you don't know what a good website should look like, you won't know when someone else is messing up if you're not an expert. So that's one of the things that I found valuable in being in every single role in my business. But I do wish that I hired someone earlier, because your role as business owner should just be making sure that clients are coming through the door. At the end of the day, you don't want to be a freelancer, you want to be the business owner. So your role is to delegate all of these tasks to different people and make sure that they're executing properly. And your main role is just to continuously bring more and more clients through the door. And I think I would have made a lot more money had I realized this sooner. But like I said, I did learn something from it, so it's not all bad. I still value the fact that I put the time in and I had that experience being super hands-on in the business, but I do know that I don't want to do that ever again. You also reach a point where you're so burnt out and the quality is unfortunately dropping, because you can't work 16-hour days every single day without getting extremely burnt out. And then a big thing that was important after all of this was documenting what works and what doesn't work. This is how you scale and how you take it from just being a freelancer and kind of loosely building your business to having clear systems. Systems is what's going to take you from that initial 0 to 10K to scaling way past that. Because you need to be able to replicate certain processes. Like now when a website comes through our door, we know who it gets sent to, we know how the design is going to get done, we know how the copy looks, we know how to do the SEO, we know exactly how to set everything up so that it comes in, comes out, and there's no issues. That is the big thing with systems that's so important, because like I said, it does just take you to that next level and it makes things go quicker. It makes sure that the quality is consistent. It makes sure that when you hire someone new, they know exactly how to deliver the type of work that you want. And that was one of the big things that I did this year that was also super valuable. And that's just to obviously systemize everything and make sure that everything looks the exact same and is delivered in the exact same way. But going into 2026, I know there's a lot that I want to achieve in my business. I know that I want to scale it to high 7 figures, maybe even 8 figures this year. And that's an ambitious goal for me, but I know it's super achievable. I know what to do. I know what mistakes I've made. I know where I can improve, but I'm super grateful that I'm in the position that I am this year. And I want to tell any South African who's watching this video, if you're young and you don't know where to start, or you don't think you have the capital or skill to do something, I really just want to tell you that you can achieve whatever you set your mind to. If you want to start a business, start it today. Start it with nothing. Just get started. When I started, I did not know anything about websites. I didn't know how to build a website. I didn't know how to design a website. I didn't know how to reach out to anyone, and I didn't have any networking opportunities or anything like that. It is entirely possible to just start something and then learn as you go. You're going to make mistakes, but it's so much easier to go from point A to point B when you take action and you're actually making the mistakes and learning from them, rather than you just sitting and watching a bunch of people tell you how to do it and you get super motivated, but then you don't take action, so then nothing is actually happening. And then come 2027 and you're still in the exact same position. Whereas if you just start today and you make sure that 2026 is the year that you make this online business thing work, maybe you go into 2027 with a business that pays extremely well every single month like clockwork. Because like I said, it's entirely possible. So for those of you who are looking to actually just start a business this year, I have a free community of like-minded individuals that you can join. You can ask me questions, anything specific related to web design, related to starting a web design agency, or if you just need advice on starting a business in general, because all of it is basically the same thing. then feel free to join the Discord and I'll be answering questions there. I'm quite active on the Discord. So I know this was more of a yap session, but I really just wanted to be raw and unfiltered. And I hope that this inspired at least one person to make 2026 the year that they do start their online business and truly start making a good online income.